Phila mama. Phila mama. Aya nginizwa. Phila mama. When I say Phila mama, we are simply saying women live. Let there be life inside us. Can we go again? Phila mama. Phila. Phila mama. Phila. You know, then in 1956 they said Phambili. Makhoskazi phambili. Phambili makhoskazi phambili. Phila mama phila. Hallelujah. Yes, yes. Anyway, can I go? Before I say thank you to the management, protocol observed, and I just want to say it's such a pleasure for me to be here. Now, what our precious MC asked me to do, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to oblige. There is this ululating, which I never used to know how to. Until one day, I just asked God, I said to him, if you can teach me to do this, I will do it all over the world and wherever. Yes, and now, first you must just hear mine before you can join me. I want you to hear my version of it. Lily! Now, can you join me now? You are ready, aren't you? When we say Lili, remember that it is a sign or a symbol, or it's a conduct, or you want to call it a ritual, which we do when we are excited, when we are happy, when we are welcoming a groom. And well, for those who know God, our groom is Jesus. But if you don't know God, let your groom be your husband, or your husband to be whom you don't even know. Can we just go, Lily, 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 Lily. But today I want us to ululate, to celebrate who we are as women. That we have done so much. That we are not just ordinary people. That the world actually revolves and rotates around us. And we are the ones who are the architect of where we are going. Can we just go to celebrate ourselves? Can we just stand on our feet? Celebrate yourself, not anybody else. But to say, I am glad I am a woman. I am glad I'm alive right now at this point in time in our history as a nation. That I am not a mistake, but there's a purpose which is ringing in my heart. Something inside of me, it's ringing and telling me, I will make it. Can we just go for ourselves? Lily, 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 Lily. Thank you. Thank you. We may be seated. Thank you. We may be seated. I just want to say, can this go up a little bit? Is it possible for your volume to go up a little bit? Thank you. Okay, I just want to say it's such a pleasure to be introduced to our acting CEO. I want to say blessings over you because you are a history maker. You are a trailblazer. And so to you, we want to salute and say, bravo, long life, and you are going to succeed in a man's world. Can we give God and he a clap offering for her? Because it is because of prayer that it has happened. Thank you. Thank you. As we salute you, ma'am, I just want to salute also the Gender Forum, the Women's Desk, the chairpersons who are there leading this vision. And I want to believe that something is going to happen here, right here, at this Johannesburg market. A market is a place where people assume it has got to be run by women. And I want to believe that's where we are going. It is going to be a woman's turf, but not just a woman's turf, but we are going to show the world who we are as women. Listening to Usise Pet, Judy. Yes, it's Judy. As she was going on talking about the gender problems and the gender conversations which we should be having, I just said to myself, you know what? We are the ones who actually have shaped the boy child to think as they think, so that when they get onto the boardroom, they do what they're doing. In other words, we don't have sometimes to have all these meetings. We just have got to have one meeting where we're going to equip and teach women the values about life, so that we should know how to handle gender, how we teach our little boys and our little girls to become gender conscious. Because once my son is gender conscious, when he is going to be a manager, he will know exactly what to do. So we are getting a fruit of our labor as women, basically. You know, when someone says to my girls, I've got 3 girls, and when I introduce them, then you hear somebody saying, wow, umakoti wami lo. Then I tell them that I'm not bringing up a makoti here. Here I'm bringing up an engineer. I'm bringing up a medical doctor. I'm bringing up a manager. It has nothing to do with makoti. We have got to change mindsets of people. Refuse them having certain stereotypes right from a young age. We have got to teach even our little boys that there is nothing wrong with cleaning and sweeping. And it doesn't mean that you have got some defect in your mentality, that you can still sweep and do dishes and remain being a mathematician. You see, the world which we as women, we have architected and shaped it to be what it is now, and now we are reaping and we are feeling like, no, it should not be like that. It's because our teaching right from the cradle was not good enough to survive even the test of times as we are living now. Now, I just want to talk about us. I said here, my topic was men are great, but women are smarter. Men are great, but women are smarter. One thing which we have got to know, I was asked to talk a little bit about the male ego. The male ego, why men are the way they are? Well, I have just said it, that from the background, how they've been brought up. We brought them up thinking and saying to them, you are macho, you are brave, you are the great one, you are going to look after me when I'm old. You are the one who's going to take care of our home. We call them abovusmuzi, that they're the ones who are going to bring back the dignity of the family. We are the ones who push these stereotypes. And so we end up having this male, somebody who has got an ego which says, I am strong, which says, I am somebody who is important. That's how men think. And that I'm somebody to be valuable and to be valued. But then let me just remind you that in my Bible, what God tells me is that when he made man out of dust. So basically, they are a lump of dust. And as they are a lump of dust, what does it mean? This is why whenever they do something, it looks dusty. You know, when they hurt you, you start crying. Just like the wind. When the wind blows and dust goes into your eyes, you cry. So, amen, they've got dust somehow in them. But also, what they do have is they're very fragile. We're talking about the male ego. I was asking, I said to Odwa, why male ego? And I was wondering, why are we talking male ego on a day when it is Women's Day? But then I realized that there is wisdom in that. Because if we've got to walk into their territory, if we've got to come onto their turf, we must understand how they operate and how they think, so that we can be smarter. So now if we don't understand, this is why even in our little homes, we find that there are conflicts. It's because we don't understand who they are. One thing which we should know is that men, much as they are muscular in strength, and imagine, they are being muscular. Mata'au is the one which causes you to run crazy. You like it. You know, when you see those muscles, you tell yourself, wow, what a man. You know, I remember the other time I was watching my husband and he was busy tying up a caravan and those muscles were being pulled. I was standing behind, I says, wow. But listen to this. Listen to this. One day, during that time when it was very rife on a very topical issue about our president then having girlfriends here and there and so on, everybody was talking about it. In walks this patient, and I'm also just concerned when we start talking about the issue. And I say, hey man, you know, something must happen to the president. We must really get some women to go and talk to him and encourage him as a man. And this woman says to me, doctor, did you see him? My God, Asha you for Lana. Woo! And I was like, hey Bagiti, what is this now? You know, what is this? I mean, this woman is seeing the president on TV. But when he does whatever he does, hitting a four, something in her goes, woo! And, you know, I could not help but say, you know what? We should not blame our president. We should blame these women. I mean, this one, you could see, if the president would walk here, she would be like, anything you can do, I am there for you. This is us. We are women who look at this muscular thing, and you just want to go after it. We should remember that they are muscular for protection, and they are muscular to help us in whatever other way which we don't know how. Secondly, men in their own ego, they feel a sense of importance. They want to be noted. And this is where some of us, we fail to acknowledge their importance. We somehow or other feel we also deserve to be seen as important. But yes, we are important. But then what must we do as individuals? If your boss is a male person, for an example, give him that platter of being important. And don't just call him by name, but he's a sir. He's Mr. So-and-so. As you give him that, he also is going to lift you up. When you introduce your husband, for an example, to your colleagues, especially male colleagues, he feels, I am the one who's in charge on this turf. And you dare not touch her because she belongs to me. But you see, when you compete and when you tend to say, no, it doesn't matter whether I introduced you or not, it doesn't matter to him, it does. And so we have got to understand, because I want to believe that why we have part of our talk on male ego is to equip us so that we are able to understand the dynamics on how a man thinks and how he feels. The third thing which a man sees is, for him, work is life and life is work. Men are work orientated. Whether you like it or not, they love their work. What we have got to do as women is to, if you are married, that is, to this particular man, is to give him space to enjoy his work. Make a nice little niche even at home for him to be to operate his computer the way he likes. And don't even mess around with what he has planned for himself for the day. Always honor their work. Once you do that as a secretary, if you are PA or an assistant, or if you are supervising a man, know that what is important to him is work security. And whatever a man wants, nothing matters to him as long as he says to himself, I am working. A man who does not work, ladies, for you who are married or staying with a man who is not a worker, just take this of note. When a man is not employed, his dignity is already crushed. And when you come around and start telling him how stupid he is, how a want worker he is, how you wake up in the morning, you go to work, you leave him sleeping, and all that literally does not crush him, but he collapses. He collapses. When you want to build a man, as I would say to even our government, those who are policy making, is make a man to be a worker. One way of reducing abuse, woman abuse, child abuse, give our men a platform to work. Once they work, that's where they find fulfillment. That's where they find, I am somebody. That's where they derive their identity. And so, when we have got this gender forum is for us to help those who are not understanding how we men are feeling, especially in this era when we are talking about woman empowerment. When you speak woman empowerment, most men, they shrink. Most men, they hate it because they see it as an opposition to who they are. It's like somebody has stepped into our territory. Somebody is taking over our jobs. And this somebody happens to be a woman. And so, to take out my anger, I've got to abuse her. I've got to manhandle her because I cannot get equal to her. One thing is, when we have got woman empowerment, we must make sure that our men don't lose their position as those who are the key workers. With that, I am not saying that we should not be managers. Yes, we should be managers. Because as far as I believe, this is what God said, that when he gave the command to go and have dominion, to go and multiply, fill the earth and rule over it, he gave the commandment to both of them. So we need to be equal. No one should see themselves as a lesser equal human being to that task. We are both equal. This is gender. This is God who created gender. He created it, we'll see just now, that in a way that it should be complementing. There are things, as I'm talking about the strength of men, I will talk about the strength of women, and you will see that we both need each other in management. We both need each other in decision making. You know, our constitution, for an example, taking it as an example, it's said to be, it is obviously the best, one of the best constitution in the world. But one thing it lacks a clause which speaks on family. And why is it so? It's because it were men who were drawing it without a woman. If there was a woman, we would have talked about family. We have talked about the importance of family, about this problem now which we are all facing of polygamy. I believe there is no woman in her own little world who desires to be a second wife. We all want to be the only one. That's how we are. We want you to check me and me alone. Even if, you see, in government they can allow polygamy. But who allows polygamy? It's men. It's men. Once again, it shows that they are demeaning you as a woman. Now, when we have a clause talking about family, that's where we're going to protect our rights as women. That's where we're going to say no. You know, men often mistaken us, and they don't think that there is something about a mind in a woman. I often find men coming to me and saying, Doctor, can you help me, man? Uyazi mina bengishaya ama-round I6. Manje sengishaya 2. And I tell them, I say, listen, man, we don't need, as women, we don't need rounds. We need one important bash which makes me feel good. That's all what I need. I don't need you to keep on coming back 1, 2, 4, 8 rounds. I need to wake up. I need to go to work. I need to look after my children. I don't want to spend the whole night going into rounds. You see, this concept of rounds is because men don't understand us. That's why they think we like to be in a polygamous relationship. That's how they think it should be legal, because they think we like it. But in essence, we don't. I was talking about a man at work. Now, also, the last point I want to drive about the male ego is that men want to be decision makers. They love to be decision makers. And one word which I often find being a problem to people who are married is submission. They often say, submission, case word. No, remove it. Paul was a chauvinist. He was wrong talking about submission. But what is submission? Submission is simply to submit your ideas. We submit our assignments to UNISA, and we don't grumble and say, why does UNISA want me to submit? We do. Now, what's wrong with submitting your ideas, your opinion, your everything, your dream to your husband? What's wrong with that? I find nothing wrong with that, because in essence, you need two people to help you make a decision. You need somebody to make an input. This is why we have got different committees and so on. Why? It's because there are policies which we want to enforce, but before we do that, we want to make sure that we bring all the stakeholders to come into the conversations so that whatever we decide upon is going to benefit the company. Isn't it so? So yes, that's how it should be. Even when we're married, let's submit our opinion to them. And then let us decide. Now somebody would say, if my husband is hardcore and he is the type of a person, does not want to listen. Why he got into that stage is because of some other dynamics which came around in your relationship. But yes, they are decision makers. They love to be decision makers. But then we are going to see about us as women. I want us to just have a look at who we are. Who is a woman? A woman is somebody who brings a wow to a man. You bring a wow to a man. You bring a wow to your household. You bring a wow wherever you go. Look at this beautiful, this is an ordinary tent, but when you come in, it does no more look ordinary. Who made it? It's a woman. A woman is the one who says, wow. She's the one who says, look at me, catch me. Whatever I do, I want to do it smarter. And I want to do it in style. This is who we are. We cannot be sum totaled to be somebody who should be controlled. But rather, we are the ones who want to make things to begin to happen. We as women, we are people who are builders. We're builders. We build lots of things. We might not build bridges, but we can contribute to the idea of how to build those bridges as engineers. We can do that. We as women were the ones who have got ideas which are amazing when it comes to decoration, when it comes to putting up a certain structure. There is a certain capacity which we have. And not only that, we as women, we are people who are given by God this time. He has given us this quality of being people who are highly imaginative. We can imagine. And imagination is power. Before anything could happen, imagination has got to be driven by pictures. That's why we need to be exposed That's why we need to be people who are going to be thinkers. That's why we need to have environments which enable us to imagine. We are people filled with imagination. We can imagine a color meeting with another color. You come to a room and a woman can say, I want a desk there, there should be what there, and there should be this and that. We design, and when you see it at the end of the story, is wow, it was beautiful. There is something inside you. There is something inside you which says, I am a builder. There is something inside you which speaks to you and says, I am somebody who can accomplish. We are not just ordinary people, but we are people who are there to make the world go round. Can I say just a little poem here? Woman is a life-giving force. A woman is decorative. A woman is versatile. A woman is able and capable. A woman is beautiful. She is able to inspire for success. She has great influence with her own words. She's able to strengthen those who are weak. She's able to give courage to those who doubt. She's able to give vision to those who are blind. She is a builder. But now you find the other side of a woman. A woman, I like telling the story. It was on Father's Day, I think, and I was standing on a queue Saturday before then, standing on a queue to pay for an article. I bought my husband a present. And this lady car walks up to me and says, wow, that looks very smart. And I look at her, I say, thank you. So I look at her, I say, aren't you married? She says, yes, I am. So I said to her, why don't you buy the same thing for your husband, seeing that you're appreciating it? And she says, yo, silelo, hey, all of a sudden, she just burst on me and she was so angry. And I was like, my goodness, what is this? You know what is it? It's a sign which says, we as women, somehow or other, when things go terribly wrong in our lives, we are people who know how to withdraw. We withdraw the best which we have. We withdraw even our capabilities. You withdraw doing even the things you know how to do them, and you refuse. Have you seen how you refuse even to cook? Have you seen how you refuse even to do what is best for you to do, which might be cleaning? You just refuse. You tell yourself, never kiyetse, but I born. And you tell your children, sawa eating di broto. You will see how to finish. This is how we are. Now, can you imagine having a person like that in management? We can't be managers like that. Because now we are people who are going to be reactive. We're going to say, namhlanje ngikwatile, all decisions which are going to be taken, ngizobalaya. Uzolaya abantu. Even those who don't know anything. I remember going to a hair salon. There used to be a hair salon in Soweto. I can't even remember the name, but it was a hair salon which was boys only. Now I asked the owner, why are you having boys only? And he says, it's because a lot of women have got moods. And so they chase away my customers. So I'd rather have men only. We've got to look into ourselves. What has gone wrong? In a survey which was taken at the Johannesburg Hospital on the nursing staff and in all other hospitals, I suppose, the survey showed that why women underperform is because of three things: anger, stress, failure to bounce back. Once we are angry, once we are under stress, we fail even under treatment to come back and be more effective. Which means that one horrible weakness of a woman, strong as she can be, is anger, emotional and stability. That is our enemy. Why is it so? It is a physiological phenomenon. We have got what we call, don't worry, we've got progesterones and estrogens. And these progesterones and estrogens, somehow or other, are the ones which influence our mood. It somehow or other causes us to behave in an emotional manner. This is why you find towards your menstrual time, you have got premenstrual tension. Sometimes you might find after you have given birth, you run into depression. Sometimes you might find once you are still pregnant, you have got mood swings. When we hit a certain time, which we call a menopause, then moods also come in. So we are people who are physiologically disabled when it comes to emotional makeup. We don't know how to handle ourselves. And so we do become victims of anger. Most women, when they're angry, have you seen how you meet a person, you don't know them, you just meet them maybe in town, or someone who's serving you on the other side of the desk? Like yesterday I was at the library and I was asking this lady, where is the referral section of the library? And she's like, and I'm like, hey, Bagiti, hey, wait. You know, you have forgotten that you are here to serve. You have forgotten that you're about work. So can you imagine if at all you have your superior being a woman who's moody, then he's going to start bullying you. They bully you. They make you miserable. I read a study where it was shown that one of the most stressors of women when they are led by other women is stress which is due to bullying. And because people bully, why do they bully? Is because they've got issues. They've got issues, internal issues of the soul, internal issues emotionally, and they don't know how to deal with them. Poor emotional management skills. And if I, as a doctor, I was going to be approached by any management company where there are women, and they would ask me, what would you recommend we do a workshop for our workers? I would say emotional management. Because we don't know how to manage our emotions. We drive one another. We break each other. We destroy each other out of anger. And not because that person who we are targeting happens to be the one who offended you. Just because somebody outside, could be your boyfriend, could be your children, could be somebody, have angered you. Can I speak a little bit about emotional anger? Emotional anger, when you are angry, what happens is you become, as human beings, we've got a tripartite, they call it, tripartite. We've got a soul, and our soul has got nothing else but our emotions, our mind, and our will. And now you find most of us as women, we function on the basis of emotion. Our mind does not work, and we don't want to choose. We allow our emotions to drive us. And as our emotions drive us, we destroy a lot of things in the way. So when we are angry, we don't stop and say, why am I angry? You don't say, should I be angry after so-and-so has spoken whatever they said to me? You don't think like that. You just immediately say, Wankwatisa mutu ole. You don't say, why Ankwatisa? You know, sometimes when I drive and I have these road rage people, somebody pointing at you and or cutting in front of you as you drive or something like that, something will say in my mind, suppose his wife is dying. That's why he's driving like that. Suppose this man is rushing home because there's something wrong with their child. Suppose this man has got problems when they've just had a tiff and a quarrel at home. You know, there are things which make people do things. Don't look at what they're doing as an offense and take it per se. There is a reason. There's always a reason. And so what am I saying? Managing your anger, you have got to pause and think. After your emotion, hook on into your being, thinking, a mind. Women, we have got to think. Remember, tubanahana. Allow yourself to think. Don't just do things the way you want, the way I feel, the way I do. You know, it's like, for an example, we are here. And as we're seated here, you feel like you want to go to the toilet. Okay? And what do? You don't stand up and go to the loo. You ask your friend, Nkapi. And now you wonder why go kapa? Because at the toilet there's one seat and there's one door. But runa rakapana. As women, have you thought about it? I mean, there are things which we do and you never thought. And if a thinking, just one sense can come into your mind, you will change the way you do things. Because Sekianahana, I am now a thinker. This is what we need. Learning from man's ego. Man, what drives them is thinking. Is thinking. When he comes to fetch you, suppose you are on a date, when he comes to fetch you, for you to go to a restaurant or whatever, he has already thought, Hore, after that, we are going to my room and we're going to have sex. He has thought about it. When you never thought, you just carry your little bag. You don't even have money in your bag. You don't think. You just go into that restaurant and you think everything will be okay. When now he says, baby, I'm not dropping you at your place. You're coming to my place. Oh, no. Now you can't even go home. You don't have taxi fare. Nothing, because you never thought. Now you are at his mercy. This is how we are. We don't preempt. We are people who don't think ahead. We don't plan ahead. We are people who are excited about the moment. You're just excited about the moment. For an example, you see this hunk. When you see this hunk, you just go for him. Nothing in you says, wait a minute. Is he married? Wait a minute. Where was he all along? What did he do? Does he have children? Maybe he might have 5. No, you don't think like that. You just go somewhere. You are driven by your emotions. And when you are inside, then is Mausheba. How did I get in here? Hey, Tusang Bahesu. Hey, Eva Seobi, counseling, I need counseling. I'm in trouble. Why were you in trouble? You never thought of it. You never thought of it. Why am I pregnant? That's what you say. I never thought. Ladies, if we've got to make it in the men's world, we've got to be people who think. Every time you must say, think. When you enter your office, think. Whether I am cleaning, I must think how I clean. I must not just clean, like this, and I clean, because one time 2 of them will fall off. I asked somebody about Joburg Jen. All of us, we saw it. Patient goes onto the window, falls. 9th floor, dies. Now I ask, what happened? No, this patient asked nurse or the cleaning lady, can you open the window for me? I'm feeling too hot. Now this lady, she doesn't think that this window is never opened. I have been given a key so that I must open it when I clean. Now, if owner is asking for a window to be opened, then there's something wrong. Because there are other windows. There are other doors. Do you see, ladies? We We get ourselves in trouble because we don't think. We don't think. You just go. And then after you see results, then is ma uqabanga. You think retrospectively, but it never helps. Ngaleso sikhathi is too late. The world is a world yabantu abacabangayo. This is why in our all these forums, in our management, in what is people who are needed there who are thinkers. A study was done in one company. Now, now everybody is looking at gender equality and upgrading the number of women in management and so on. So this company is being asked, come and research us. Why do we have women and men dominating top management and middle management? What is going on? Because we have got women here who are capable, but somehow they don't get in there. And so they found out that their supervisors, when they were posts, and they were supposed to recommend them for those posts which were up there, what they will write about how nice they are, how well dressed they are, how well behaved they are, how they always come on time. But when they recommend a man, they will say he's a man of leadership quality. He has got a brain, he thinks, he does this, he does that. And they did it unconsciously. They didn't even do it consciously. But this tells you that men in the marketplace, just like they think about us at home, they don't think of us as thinkers. They think of us as beauties. This is why there is sexual harassment at work. Because when they see you, they don't see a colleague whom I can sit and hold conversations which will take the policies of the company forward and bring profits. No, they don't think like that. When they look at you, they see a sex somebody. The way you dress, the way you look, they see someone whom I can have a flirt with. You know? So this is how as small-minded we allow the male partner to think about us. But the day we begin to think, the day you will say, no, sir, I am not for sexual overtones. I am here to work. And I would appreciate if you'll keep your hands to yourself. Then he will respect you. But Ganingi, we don't do it. We simply stick and go and tell the other one, where's we wang bambala? Naloyana at nami bengile wang bambala. Naloyana at jasmina wang rabala. So you find everybody here has been bambat, but nobody has ever said, hi, you don't do it. I stand up to that and I'm not going to allow it. Why? Because we are the way we are. Mankuluma uzongkosha. No. Nobody will kosha you. Under a sexual harassment environment, you actually hold the power. You can dictate terms. That's the truth. And as I want to draw to a close, I want to say to us, how do I become somebody who is a thinker? How do I become somebody who is a thinker? Number one, what you have got to say is, you must be able to draw your own contract with your own life. Draw your own contract with your own life. Don't allow to be driven by things. Have a contract. Tell yourself, Hore, I am going to be a success. I'm going to succeed. I'm a person who succeeds by nature. Tell yourself that. And if I'm going to be the one who succeeds, listen to this. Men succeed because of their strength. They succeed because of money and because they're able to manipulate. But we as women will only succeed when we are wise. Wisdom. Thinking. This is what my Bible tells me. God says when we are beautiful without knowledge, then we cannot be people who matter and of value. Have some thinking. Put some thinking inside you. Secondly, what you have got to do after drawing your own contract with your life, Make choices. Be somebody who chooses. Be in charge. There's one thing which God has given you. This is what is called will. Okay. When you have got the will, your will says, I choose to do, and I don't choose to do. I choose to be angry, and I choose not to be angry. I'm ending. And then, finally, I want to say, tell yourself, I want to be a winner. A winner is a person who sets standards. Set your own standards. Don't allow life to drift you in a certain direction. Have your own standard. Be a person who's orderly and be a person who's classy. Refuse to quit. Refuse to quit. Refuse to lower your standards. Stay where you have belonged, and when you have decided that I stand up here. When you do that, you'll be an achiever. You'll be an achiever because you are able to stand the challenges. You'll be an achiever because you fought your enemies and you won. You'll be an achiever because you pushed against all odds and you became victorious. You'll be an achiever because you chose to succeed. We do not step back, but we move forward. Pursue your thinking. Be in charge. Be a woman who puts a wow in everything you do, so that as you move on, everybody should say after you have left, just like a perfume leaves people and they go, it smells nice. After you have gone, they should be able to say, wow, and they take their pens and they write some notes from your life. God bless you. Thank you.